Britain has just got itself a new Prime Minister, and you might be thinking, haven't they had quite a lot of those in the last few years? Well, yes, but it's a bit different this time. It's the end of an era. So this is a guide for all the non-Brits about what's going on. Rishi Sunak, who was the UK's Prime Minister, called this election in May. This was the first general election since 2019.
Thank you very much.
But the Prime Minister has changed a couple of times since then. Between elections, Prime Ministers can resign and be replaced by their own party, rather than the general public. Boris Johnson stepped down in a wave of drama and scandal.
I am returning to my plan.
And Liz Truss then took over, but quickly became the shortest-serving Prime Minister ever after her plans kick-started weeks of economic turmoil.
I am resigning.
So, the baton fell to Rishi Sunak. Two of his main goals have been cutting inflation and reducing the number of migrants entering the UK illegally on small boats. It was up to him to face the nation and lead the Conservative Party into the election. But now he's gone too, so what's happened?
The man with the reverse Midas touch.
Elections in the UK are decided on how many seats each party can win in the House of Commons. That's the place where politicians debate laws,
Virtue signalling lawyer from North London,
and shout at each other.
Prime Minister, sit down.
The Prime Minister, Dodgy Dave.
The UK's former opposition party, the Labour Party, has won a majority of these seats, so they've won the election. Their leader, Keir Starmer, is now Prime Minister, replacing Rishi Sunak. The Labour Party hasn't won an election since 2005, so this is a big deal for them. It also marks the end of an era in British politics. The Conservatives have been in power for 14 years and have had 5 different leaders. Their time in charge will probably be remembered for making controversial cuts to public spending, overseeing the UK's difficult divorce from the European Union, and stories of Downing Street parties during the COVID lockdowns.
Is this the end, Mr. Johnson?
So who's the new guy?
This is obviously a very disappointing night for the Labour Party.
After Labour suffered one of its worst defeats in the last election and faced a crisis over anti-Semitism allegations, former lawyer Sir Keir Starmer was voted in and has been leading the party in opposition of the Conservatives since 2020.
Warn us what he's planning next, so we can prepare ourselves for the disaster that will inevitably follow.
He made it his mission to pull the party from the left of politics to the centre. This is a project that's won him both praise and criticism. So what happens next? Keir Starmer will appoint his cabinet. That's his top team that will be in charge of things like health and the economy. And, unless an early election is called, the Labour Party will govern England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland for the next 5 years. As for Rishi Sunak, his family will have to move out Downing Street. And the Conservatives will now be one of the opposition parties tasked with holding the Labour government to account. So expect more shouting.
Order!